Good afternoon, everyone, and welcome to the first edition of Inside the Nest for Women's Soccer. I'm joined today by first-year head coach Cory Herchenroeder. Coach, thanks for taking just a few minutes out of your day to talk women's soccer.
Absolutely. Thank you for having me.
Absolutely. So you joined the staff in February, one of, I believe, 4 coaches that joined the staff in February or January, and we're getting geared up for a big spring, workouts and things like that, getting the opportunity to be on the field with your new team for the first time before everything kind of went to chaos, it feels like. So tell us a little bit about your journey. You come to us from Sam Houston State, but you've also kind of a Missouri guy. You played at William Woods, spent some time at Missouri State. So tell us a little bit about your journey and why Jewell.
Yeah, so like you said, I was at Sam Houston for 3 years prior to coming here. I was, after my second year, named associate head coach there, and I really loved it there. I just kind of thought it was time for a new chapter. Before that, I was at Missouri State, coached the men and women's team there for a little over 2.5 years, and prior to that, I was at William Woods, my alma mater, and did my graduate assistant job there with the women's soccer team there. So all that kind of led me to Jewell. And I mean, playing at William Woods back when Jewell was an NAIA team, I had known a lot about it, and they had really good reputation, both athletically and academically. So it was something that excited me a lot. And another huge piece was Eddie Horn, the men's coach here, has been one of my mentors for quite some time now. So having an opportunity to chat with him about things and the direction the program, the department is going was a huge piece. So very excited to be here for sure.
Absolutely. I know our girls have been tremendously positive, and just the impact that you've already made, even through a shutdown and not having the opportunity to do some of those things, have really seemed to enjoy the changes you're making. So happy to have you. Let's kind of go back to the spring, not getting the opportunity to have those spring workouts. As a first-year head coach, at the time, you were preparing for this fall season. So, seeing that shut down, sending your kids home for spring break, knowing that the next time you saw them at the time, you were going to be preparing for your season with just a matter of weeks to go. What was that like for you, especially, this is your first head coaching job, probably a little nerve-wracking?
Yeah, no, it was pretty crazy. Like you said, we were preparing for the fall and making sure we were doing all the right stuff at the moment. And I mean, still getting to know every one of the girls, I think it's a huge piece to kind of have a personal relationship with all the players, and still building those relationships. And then we have the shutdown, and it was good though. I mean, I'm grateful for the 2.5 weeks that we did get on the field. I think the girls got a chance to see the expectations that I have. And I mean, we formed a leadership group, and the leadership group did a really good job in those 2.5 weeks of really helping the team understand my expectations. Then, I mean, even during the shutdown, we did a lot of activities, whether they were scouting activities or different activities to kind of introduce ourselves to the team. And I mean, I think we were still very productive in that time. And I think that was a very important time for us as a program to help start the change of the culture. So
Absolutely. So moving into the fall, you were, like I said, preparing for a fall season until about late July, and then things kind of went up in the air and was moved to the spring. What are you doing this fall? What does the fall look like for women's soccer without a season, and how are you getting ready for the spring?
yeah, so now we're in our high risk period. So high risk means we can basically do anything scrimmage wise, defending wise, all that kind of stuff. And we're changing our shape a little bit. And I mean, right now we're just hitting the ground running and trying to utilize the moments that we have. And I mean, we're going to try to get as much film in this time as possible, because we haven't had a ton. Obviously, in the spring, we didn't have a ton of film to work with. So making sure the girls, again, understand the expectations. We're changing our shape, understand the roles and responsibility within the shape work that we're going to have. And again, I think the leadership group, and I mean, all the girls really are really excited to be back. And I think that's a huge piece, is they have that passion for the game, and they want to be better, and they want to find success. And that's what we're working on right now.
That's great. So talk a little bit about navigating through this year. As a head coach, especially a first-year head coach, the NCAA protocols with testing, and then the potential of athletes having to be isolated because they were exposed. Just as a head coach, when you plan, you're thinking a week to 2 weeks to multiple weeks in advance. But always in the back of your mind, there's that thought of, okay, I could be planning this practice, but I could have 7 kids out in isolation because they were exposed. how do you go about navigating through that?
Yeah, I mean, I think you have to plan for the best case and worst case always. And I mean, it's kind of the same thing on our everyday life of if we have injuries or we have people out for class or whatever it may be. I mean, we just have to be able to adjust on the fly. And like you said, during this high risk period, we really want to make sure we're working on our team shape and stuff like that. But if for whatever reason we have kids quarantined and things like that, I mean, we just have to adjust. And I mean, it's my job and our assistant coach's job to really make sure we're finding productive ways to utilize the people that we do have in those training sessions. So it's a day-by-day basis right now, but we're doing everything we can to make sure we're preparing for the spring.
Yeah, I feel like it's a little bit like life. You know, you got to adjust. Sometimes things happen and they're not always fun, but you figure it out and you keep going and get back to normal when you can. You brought up your new assistant coach. A little bit of a silver lining this fall is that we have a new assistant coach. Jordan is on staff, played collegiately at Doane. This is the first time since I've been here, at least, that we've had a full assistant coach that's here all the time, and it's specifically directed towards women's soccer and not split between multiple teams. So talk a little bit about her. How'd you find her? What do you like about her? What does she bring to your team?
Yeah, no, Jordan's awesome. And I mean, we went through a pretty lengthy interview process, interviewed over 20 people. And I mean, Jordan was a highlight in that. And, I mean, we had a lot of really good candidates. And through that, like you said, Jordan just graduated from Doane this past May. And I mean, right away, she's from the area. That helped a lot. And she does a lot of really good things, and her energy level, she's very relatable to the girls, obviously just can finish playing herself. And I mean, I thought it was really important in the process to really find somebody that our girls can come to and feel comfortable with. And I think Jordan is definitely that person. I mean, she's come in, started August 1st, and really hit the ground running. We've had a lot of stuff going on since she started, so she's done a great job so far. I'm really looking forward to the future with her.
Absolutely. She's going to get some great experience, both maybe good and bad this fall, dealing with a lot of things, but some great experience nonetheless, and hopefully some game experience in the spring. Well, Coach, thank you for sitting down with us. I know we didn't talk for long, but that's okay. Appreciate you taking some opportunity to talk a little bit of women's soccer. This is the first opportunity we've really gotten to sit down with you, just because you started right before we shut down. But appreciate it. Good luck with your high impact period here, and back to practice.
Well, I appreciate it, and thank you for taking the time.
Absolutely.